Hi guys, are we live? I believe we are. Hello. Baby doll. Hold on a second, honey man. Let's see what's going on here. It's always, that we don't want. This we don't want. This we might want. Okay. There we go. What, honey man?
I saw a Spider-Car movie, but
we cannot watch it now because we've got a show to do here. We got the people. Look at all the people.
I got asked.
Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to Sunday Night Live. All right. You know Ryder, say hello. Get your face out of the shadow.
Hello.
Get over there. There's my beautiful man.
Hey, Papa.
What?
I really thought we can watch Spider-Car after the show.
Yeah, maybe after the show we can, hon. But we're going to sing one song, me and Ryder. Hi, folks. Hope you're having a lovely evening. What we're going to do is me and Ryder are going to sing Never Surrender. We're going to get that out of the way because we got work to do here, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's get that done. We're going to sing Never Surrender. That was Rye. Rye wanted to sing Never Surrender. You ready? Thanks for joining us, guys. Glad to see you. I don't know who's here yet, but we'll take a look in a second. And Father God, thanks for tonight. Thanks for all this junk working. Thanks for this little man. Bless him, Father, in Jesus' name, and bless everybody here in the chat on the stream. Bless the family, Father, and every family represented here in the stream, on the stream, here, now, and later, Father. So here we go. Alive and well, I'm wide awake. Won't take your brand, I'm not your slave. You serve your God, Lord of the flies. I pity you when you meet mine. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. Your bloody mouth unsatisfied. God sees the trap you set for me. He'll not be mocked, I will be free. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? We'll never give in, never give up, never back down, never surrender, never surrender. Your fear will not make me behave. I won't march in your masked parade. Your hollow threats won't shut me up. I won't bow down, enough's enough. You say you'll give us what we need, as if you own the air we breathe. Stand up 100 million strong. Thought we'd lie down, well, you thought wrong. We will not bend, we will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? He'll never give in, never give up, never back down. We'll never give in, never give up, never back down. We'll never give in, never give up, never back down. Never surrender, never surrender. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, just keep going, keep on going. Jesus with me every step. Just keep going, keep on going. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus closer than my breath. Just keep going, keep on going. We will not bend. Sing it. We will not break. How dare you touch what God gave? We'll never give in, never give up, never back down. We'll never give in, give up, never back down. We'll never give in, never give up, never back down. Never surrender. Just keep going, keep on going. Jesus with me every step. Just keep going, keep on going. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Just keep going, keep breath. Just keep going, keep on going.
Is the song done?
I love you. Say goodbye and say, I see you later, folks.
Bye.
All right, I'll see you after, okay?
Okay.
I love you very much. God bless you, my pal. We play later, okay? Watch your step, watch your step, watch your step. Such a good boy. Thank you, honey man. Hi, guys. Ryder's such a good boy. I didn't think tonight, yeah. Let me see who's here. I'm so, let's see. Good evening. Oh, he's...
Can I come back down?
What's that, honey?
After the song's done, can I come back down the stairs?
In a little while, hon. Okay, Mom will tell you when, okay?
Okay.
I love you.
Just call me after the song's done.
He's so funny. Hi, guys. Good to see you all here. Thank you for being here. If I start mentioning everybody's names, I will be here at midnight. And I want to get right into what we're going to do. So I told you, I don't know, I had mentioned that what I wanted to talk about tonight, for one thing, can you hear me okay? Is the sound all right? Let me see. I want to make sure you can hear me. It should be plenty loud. I know I tend to get quiet. Thank you, Dean. He's my buddy. Yeah, he's my buddy. We'll be doing some things from Pretty Blue World, which I don't usually do now. So you can hear me okay, though, right, guys? I guess you can. Otherwise, everybody be saying it's too low, it's too low. I think we're okay, right? Yes. I hope that's a yes. Good. Sound is good. All right. So what I wanted to do tonight, and the only reason I want to do this tonight is because I think it's really important that we talk about what God has done for us. And when I hear other people talk about what God has done for them, especially when I had troubles in my life, I was always encouraged. So I hope what I got to say tonight encourages you. What I put in the title was, I'm going to tell you about the song that saved my life. And a song actually really saved my life. God gave me a song that saved my life at the worst point in my life. But to tell you that story, I kind of have to go back a little bit, probably a little further than I should. But I'm going to go back and let me just get where I'm supposed to be here. And that's where I'm supposed to be. Hey, that worked. I guess it was a long, long time ago. I'm not going to try and give you dates and stuff. It's just a long time ago. And as I tell the tale, you'll get the idea of how long ago it was. But I lived. I had made a bunch of records. When in my, I started making records when I was like 17 or 18 years old, and made 3 records, got born again somewhere after all that mess, and it was a mess. A bunch of almosts, like almost hit a home run, but somehow the ball went foul at the last second. So I had a bunch of almosts, and but the cool part was it left me searching, and when someone spoke the word to me, at a particular time, because it wasn't the first time someone spoke the word to me, but at this particular time where I'd gone through some really kind of tough stuff, I heard it, and I knew it was something I wanted, and so I got born again for real at that point. I was like 27 years old. And then shortly thereafter, I was able to marry the girl that I kind of was torturing. Just when I say torturing, I was just being a jerk, and she was sweet and kind and loved me so much. She put up with stuff. She should have run away from me a million times. And I was just doing what I thought wannabe rock stars were supposed to do. And that meant living like a fool. And I was living like a fool, kind of. I was kind of I think I was kind of a nice kid acting like a fool. Because I really... my heart was okay, but then I started falling into some kind of stupid ideas, as you could imagine. So after I got born again, all that kind of went away, and I got married, something I thought I'd never do. It's something I told the girl. I told her, I'm never going to marry you. Go away, I'm never going to marry you. And as much as I tried to chase her away, she kept coming back. So after I got born again, I said, yeah, this is something I should do. And we got married, had a baby. And it was always well. You know, we were this really weird little family. I no longer had a record contract, but I didn't care too much about that. I kept writing songs and got very involved in ministry. And by ministry, I say I belong to this Bible ministry. And I was teaching the Bible in my house after a couple of years. And we moved out of Manhattan into New Jersey for a short period of time just to get a bigger room for the baby, because we had a baby, and we were living in one room in Manhattan, the three of us. I was teaching the Bible, sitting on a queen-size bed, and people would sit around. There was no internet, so it was like 7 or 8 people, 6 people, 5 people, my wife on the bed with the baby, and me sitting on the edge of the bed, and people sitting on the couple of chairs we had in this tiny room, teaching the Bible. And it was sweet. It was sweet. It was a nice time. At the time, a friend of mine, I was still going after the music business a little bit, but differently. But at that time, a friend of mine gave me a window washing route, which means you go around washing windows, and actually you made pretty good money. I was a lousy window washer. I know I've said this before. Anyway, I got to hurry this part. And but one day, my wife and baby would go with me everywhere. So Rosie was probably a couple of years old. I don't remember so good. And it was a really cold winter day. It had been snowing for days and days, and now it was the aftermath of the snow. And I remember being in front of a pizza place in New Jersey, and it was wicked cold. And I had one more place to do. It was a pizza place. And I got out of the car. I left my daughter and my wife in the car. She was breastfeeding the baby, and it was too cold for them to come out. Normally they'd go in, and the guy would give them pizza, and we just kind of, and the people were kind of entertained by this ragamuffin family coming in and washing their windows. And some of them knew I had records in the stores and stuff, so it was kind of weird. And on this particular day, I went in to wash the windows of this pizza place, and I remember being in there and taking the squeegee thing, the washer part, and hitting the window behind the neon. This is on the inside of the place. And as I hit it, the nicotine, because people used to smoke in the restaurants then, it was just a little pizza joint with a couple of tables. And the yellow nicotine started pouring down the window like a horror movie. It just was really ugly. And I'm looking out the window at my car through this yellow nicotine going down the window. And I went out, finished the windows, got my money from the man who was a really sweet man. Went out to the car. I had to climb over this 3-foot high drift of dirty snow, really nasty, from the exhaust of the cars, kind of black snow. And I climb over that, put my bucket in the back of the car. I get in the car, and my wife is hysterical crying, holding the baby, hysterical crying. And I thought someone did something, so it was immediately, I said, like, what happened? Who did something? Who can I kill? Who can I go get? Who do I got to go hit? But it wasn't that. She found a lump in her breast. And 3 years later, she was gone. I went from having this really kind of charmed life, because she was sick for 3 years or more. Like I said, times, months, dates, years, I don't know. I don't know how important it is either. I try to forget those things. I don't try to forget. I do forget. That way I don't have to mark a day as, this happened on that day and it's a dark day. I don't know dates like that. But so for 3 years she was sick, and it was a really hard thing to because I was supposed to be the one who took care of her. I was supposed to be I was like the hero. I can fix everything. And I remember telling her when she was crying, "Why are you crying?" I remember telling her in the car, "Why are you crying? This is nothing. Nothing ever happens to the people I love." And it was true to that point. Nothing ever happened. I never saw the inside of a hospital. And so then life just changed like that. It turned on a dime. And I remember a couple of weeks later, going, and she had to get whatever they do, the biopsy, whatever that is. And I won't bore you with too much of this, but I remember driving into Manhattan to get the results. And I remember driving into Manhattan to get the results, and staying in the car, double parked, because there was no way to park. So she said, "Don't worry, I'll be right out. You just stay here with the baby." The baby had fallen asleep. So it was a winter day, and it was about a half hour later, I saw her come out of the dark doorway of this. It was just a private, it looked like a house, like a townhouse in Manhattan, where this doctor was. And I saw her come out through the black wrought iron door, and I remember there was a fence, which is kind of unusual, with like a barren rose garden in the front of this place. It was kind of weird. And I see her come out, and she looks like she was smiling. And I went, "Oh, good, she's smiling, so everything's okay." And then I realized as she got closer that she wasn't smiling, she was crying. And that's when we knew that it was something. So I was wrong. And 3 years later, she was gone. The day after, the night she closed her eyes and went to sleep, that night, I'm sorry. We were in the hospital the last couple of weeks of her life. Before that, it was just all at home, and which was kind of neat. We didn't go to the hospital, but wound up having to carry her into the hospital, and she never left. So that night, I remember my Rosie was there. We had a bunch of friends up there in this part of the hospital, and a lot of my friends from the ministry were there, and they were all so kind and sweet. And Rosie had fallen asleep on a sofa out there. Rosie had been gone. I had sent her away to be with my folks for a couple of weeks because I didn't want her to see her mom in the hospital. And then I knew she had to come home to see her mom come back. So my folks, she was in Florida with my folks, and I hope I'm not confusing this, but my mom, So my mom and dad brought Rosie, and I remember waiting outside. And at this point, her mom was in a place where she wasn't speaking. She kind of was just, I guess they were sedating her. It was, they kind of given up, and she hadn't said a word for 2 days, and her baby is now coming to see her, and this was rough. And I remember the car pulling up. For some reason, they were in a limousine, and which was weird for my family. Someone sent a limousine. Somebody was very sweet, and I guess decided to send a limousine to bring my mom and dad from the airport to and Rosie to the hospital. I remember the door opening. It was a little chill in the air. I remember it was a sunny day though, and Rosie came running out of the car wearing this really cute little dress, and jumped up in my arms and said, "Daddy, let's go see Mama. Where's Mama?" And I just nearly lost it, because Mama's upstairs, but Mama hasn't said a word and hasn't opened her eyes for 2 days. So I brought her upstairs, and as we walked through, I brought her to the threshold of her mom's room, and as Rosie walked into, she's now 4 years old, 5 years old, I guess, maybe, her mom sat up in bed and said, "Oh, my sweetheart." I couldn't believe it. She woke up to see her baby. And Rosie ran and jumped in her mama's arms, and for a couple hours she just laid in her mama's arms, just cooing, and her mom just held her for hours, and they played, which was a miracle in itself. It was a miracle because all day she hadn't spoken for 2 days. I didn't think she was going to, so. But that night she closed her eyes for the last time. And I remember walking out of the room, kissing her on the head, and walking out of the room and going scooping Rosie up, who was wrapped in some people's jackets, and I put my jacket around her. I picked her up and walked out of the hospital. And I guess by my actions, everybody knew what had happened. And some folks followed me, and instead of getting in a car and driving to my house 5 miles away, it was raining a little, but I had Rosie wrapped in a leather jacket, and I started walking because I didn't want to get in a car. I just felt weird getting in a car and driving away without her mama. And so this gets better, folks. This is where I was at. The next morning, I walked the 5 miles with about probably 8 of my friends just followed me. They all left their cars, I guess. I don't remember so good, but it was weird. We walked all the way home. I walked home carrying her. And next morning I woke up, and the darkest moment of my life was I knew at some point that little girl was going to come running down the hall wanting to go back and see her mother. So I sat there on my bed, trying to hold myself together. In those days we wrote on yellow legal pads. And the words came to me, and I guess it was God speaking to me, and he said, the words said, how do I tell my baby mama's not coming home? How do I tell myself I'll be staying alone? Oh, I can't stop crying. And as I'm writing this down on this paper, tears are hitting the paper, and I see the ink running, and then I hear Rosie come running down the hall, saying, let's go see Mama. And then I sat her on my lap, and I read her something from Thessalonians where it says what's going to happen in the end of this thing, that the dead in Christ shall rise and put on immortality. And I read it too. I don't know what she understood, but God's word has power and heals, so that's all I could do. And anyway, so I wrote this song, and I'll play you the song. And this is not the song that changed my life. It's one of them, but I'll play you this song. This is called Heaven's Highest Hill, okay? I haven't sung this in a really long time. Let's see. How do I tell my baby mama's not coming home? How do I tell myself I'll be staying alone? Oh, I can't stop crying. She'll say, Daddy, I want to hold her, want to see her again, want to kiss her, want to touch her. Oh, what can I say? So do I. Oh, Mama, I'm missing you real bad, but it don't do me no good sitting thinking about what we had. Love don't stop, it goes on forever. Love don't stop, and it never will. Love don't stop, one day we'll be together. Love don't stop, and I'll sing this song to you someday on heaven's highest hill. How am I gonna look into those big brown eyes when she wakes up crying out in the middle of the night for Mama? How will I make it better? The house is full of people, but nobody's home. Everybody's here and I'm all alone, calling out your name, but there's no answer. Oh, Mama, last night she told me not to cry. I swear I see you every time she smiles. Love don't stop, it goes on forever. Love don't stop, and it never will. Love don't stop, one day we'll be together. Love don't stop, and I'll sing this song to you someday on heaven's highest hill. I don't know if you hear me, sometimes I'd like to think you do. All the things we've been fighting for, I'm gonna make them all come true. In these arms they ache to hold you, and I know one day I will. I'll meet you in the tall grass. I'll meet you in the tall grass. I'll meet you in the tall grass up on heaven's highest hill. I'll sing this song to you someday on heaven's highest hill. Oh my. Let's see if you guys are still here. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Prayer Warrior Girl. I hope you're feeling better. No. Rosie is my daughter. Rosie's alive and well and fine. Her mom her name wasn't Rosie. And you know, folks, I sing this to set up what God did in our lives, because at that point, I really started to believe at that point that nothing good could ever happen again. So for the next so many years, all I did was take care of the little girl, and thank God for the little girl. Otherwise, I would have went all the way to hell with myself. The good news was I never liked drugs, or I never did drugs, so I don't know if I liked them. In fact, if I did them, I probably would have really liked them, and I probably would have killed myself with them at that point. And then Rosie wouldn't have a mom or a dad. And I didn't have any really desire to drink, and so I didn't drink, and I didn't do drugs. I did other stuff, but all I did really was write songs. My dad bought a house in Long Island. He said he just wanted to have a house close to my brother. He bought a house on Long Island, I think, because he knew I needed a place. He didn't want me to stay in the place in Jersey where everything went wrong, and he was kind never to make me feel like he did that for me, and because I would have, whatever. I was a grown man. I didn't want anybody taking care of me. And he was an amazing dude, my dad. That's one of the reasons. My mom and dad were amazing. And so I was living in Long Island now, and my life consisted of sitting on the front porch of this very, very suburban, middle-class town. And I would sit on the porch and write songs. And no one, in Nashville, people do that everywhere. Everybody's writing songs everywhere. The guy in the grocery store, everybody's writing songs. Guy comes to fix your plumbing, and he sees a guitar, and he says, "Can I?" And he picks up the guitar, and he plays better than you. Me, maybe not you. So what I did was I wrote songs. People would look at me like, what the hell is that guy doing? Why is that guy always out there singing? And all I was doing was waiting for Rosie to come home from school. Because when she came home from school, I was kind of alive again. And when she was there, I felt like I was being buried alive, to be perfectly honest. Now, obviously, it was worse for her mama. But when her mom passed, I really expected things to get better, because seeing her mom suffer was the worst thing I ever had to see, because I thought I was the one I was supposed to be able to take care of her, and this was way outside of my ability to take care of her. I've since learned God is the one that takes care of people, not me. I just try to serve Him. So I would write songs, and I wrote that song, and I wrote a bunch of songs sitting on that porch. And I was writing songs that I thought no one was ever going to hear, because I really began to think, I thought nothing good would ever happen again, is because I was so taken by surprise that this can happen. Because in my life to that point, my biggest problem was that I was not yet a full-on rock star, that I only kind of did half of what I thought I was going to do, and I wasn't sure what was next. So my biggest trouble up to that point was, oh, poor me, my record wasn't as big a hit as everybody thought it was going to be. Oh, poor me. And then I learned what pain was, and then I learned what loss was, and then I learned what life was. And at that point, God began to stir gifts in me, and I think one of the gifts that He stirred was the ability to write songs that move people, that make people laugh and make people cry. Both are really good, as long as it's making them cry with hope at the end of it. Everything I've ever done, I think I couldn't let it be really dark unless I could somehow find the hope at the end of it. Even when I wasn't living the word, or trying to walk like I'm attempting to walk now. So that's what I was doing. I was writing those songs, and like I thought I thought nobody would ever hear them again. So I'm going to play one more song from that. It isn't from that period of time. This is this thing I'll play now is, and I hope I think I'm okay with this. Now, this song has a curse in it. I'm not sure if I should even say the curse. I haven't sung it in a while. But hold your ears, because it's the only word that works in this. And for me, worked for me in that situation. I may change it. I may not. But this is kind of like a little. This will get us to where I want to get to. I wrote this not that long ago, probably about in the last 8 years. I wrote this. It's called When, and it's pretty much a story of just walking through life with my daughter, raising her, and all the stuff I just talked about. And I'm gonna sing it for you now. I think this works right here. Again, and the reason I'm saying all this, the only reason I'm saying this is because I want you guys to know what God can do in the worst, with the worst of circumstances, and that I have learned by experience that when God says He will give us beauty for ashes, and the oil of gladness for sorrow. He means it. He means it. So as we go through hard times, especially as we endure injustice, and us believers will endure injustice from time to time. And it was certainly an injustice to have to watch my little girl grow up without a mama. But He always, God has, well, we're going to get to that part. Anyway, so this is called When. And it starts it starts where we started before. When I carried her down that long, cold hall, that night walking out of the hospital, when friends and family finally went home, when I realized you were really gone, when the front door closed and I could not breathe, when I was in the hall down on my knees, when she woke up 'cause she heard me cry, when she asked why God let Mama die, to buy her clothes and brush her hair, to whisper, to tuck her in and say her prayers. Oh, sometimes life's so damned unfair. Yeah, yeah. You should have been there. When she was a tree in her first grade play, on Christmas mornings and Mother's Day, when I ran out of gas and felt like such a fool, me and Rosie hitchhiking to her school. The day she came to me with worried eyes, I didn't have to say I could. Oh man, folks, I gotta do this again. I'm so sorry. I haven't done this in so long, and I want to sing this right. I'm doing it again. We're gonna do a redo, a mulligan, okay? When I carried her down that long cold hall, that night walking out of the hospital, when friends and family finally went home, when I realized you were really gone, when the front door closed and I could not breathe, when I was in the hall down on my knees, when she woke up 'cause she heard me cry, when she asked why God let Mama die, to buy her clothes and brush her hair, to tuck her in and say her prayers. Oh, sometimes life's so damned unfair. Yeah, yeah. You should have been there. When she was a tree in her first grade play, on Christmas mornings and Mother's Day, when I ran out of gas and felt like such a fool. Me and Rosie hitchhiking to a school. The day when she came to me with worried eyes, she didn't have to say I could read her mind. I just took her hand and walked out the door, held it all the way to the drugstore, to kiss her face and dry her tears, to whisper to her, Mama's here. Oh, sometimes life's so fucking unfair. Yeah, yeah. You should have been there. When I didn't know what to do, when I needed to talk to you, when the rain came pouring down, when well, Mama, you should see her now, trying on her wedding gown. I don't want her to see me cry, so I turn away and I close my eyes. Life's beautiful, I wouldn't change a thing if you could only hear her sing. Sometimes I've made mistakes and I let her down. Well, I sure wish you could have been around. When I didn't know what to do, when I needed to talk to you, when the rain came pouring down, when yeah, that was the title track off a record I made a few years back. Probably the best record I'd ever made, besides the one that's going to be coming out soon. I do think so. Jesus is a beautiful man. I'm okay. I listen to him. When I listen to him, I guess I'm okay too. But thank you. You're very, very kind. So this gets better now. So through that was the period of time that to me is like a walkthrough of raising my daughter. And the whole time, I really never expected anything. So it was like, I guess it was a few years after walking out of that hospital, I got a phone call. I was up in the room in that house in Long Island that my father had bought. I remember Rosie was out in the front on the sidewalk. They have sidewalks in Long Island there, and she was on one of those like big wheels where the kids with the pedals on the bottom. They were like yellow and blue rubber, and she was going up and down. I could hear her going up and down the sidewalk with her cousins who lived really close by, and so I knew she was okay. And I was up there recording another one of those songs that I thought no one was ever going to hear. At that time, I had been compiling these songs, one of which was Heaven's Highest Hill. Another was a song called Pretty Blue World, which I might sing or I might not sing. And another was called Power Windows. But I had these songs, and if I thought one was good enough that I wrote, I'd put it on this cassette that I had titled Pretty Blue World, just a cassette. I'd record on a reel-to-reel up in my attic there, in my room, which was an attic. And I remember the phone ringing. It was on a wire. I remember the phone. It was a really cheap phone I bought at some electronics store. And it was a friend of mine who used to be in my band. And he said, Billy, I was he was a window washer. He was also my guitar player. Before everything fell apart, he was on my second and third record. And he was a really sweet guy. And this fellow named Wayne Post, and a great guitar player. And he called me and said, Billy, I ran into a buddy of mine. I was on my window route today, and a buddy of mine came walking up, and we got to talking, and he said to me, not me, to my ex-guitar player, meets his high school friend. He's washing a window. He meets his high school friend. And his friend says, hey, what are you doing? Are you still playing guitar, right? And I guess my friend Wayne, my guitar player Wayne, he wasn't my guitar player at the time, but the guy who played guitar for me on those records, he felt kind of funny because here he is washing windows. And the guy said, you're still playing the guitar, right? He was really brilliant, a brilliant player. And Wayne said, yeah, I play with Billy Falcon. People up there kind of knew who I was. And the guy goes, oh, yeah, my boss is a big fan of his. So Wayne goes, who's your boss? And the guy says, my boss is John Bon Jovi. So that was it. They had planned to get together. I guess they swapped numbers. And the guy who worked for John Bon Jovi, he was a guy who would go get John's FedEx packages, or he would, this was back when, right before, I guess, maybe a year or two, John was a big rock star then. It was a year or two before he released that Blaze of Glory record from the Young Guns movie. So he now was a huge rock star with the hair and all the earrings and all that stuff. And so now I'm getting this call. So he goes home to John. He says, I ran into John. He said to John, goes back to John's house, and he says, hey, I ran into the guitar player of that guy you really like. John goes in the closet, his closet, and gets out my 3 12-inch records and starts listening to my records, which obviously he had. And he tells this fella, he says, you know what, call your friend and find out what happened to Billy. Where is he? What is he doing? And does he have anything I can hear? Thus, I get this phone call telling me that Bon Jovi's my biggest fan and wants to know if I have anything he could hear. Now, believe me, when I get this message from my buddy, as he's speaking this in my ear, I'm hearing the little voice going, this is, I cursed enough tonight, this is bull. This is not true. This is another tease. Nothing good is ever going to happen again. This is just something else to just spite you. This is another thing that's going to disappoint you. That's really what I felt. So I'm listening, and he says, yeah, John, he's like a huge fan of what you do. He want to know where you are, and if you have anything that he can hear, any music that he can hear. And I had this cassette of these songs that I knew were the best things I'd ever written, but I never expected that anybody would ever hear these songs besides, my circle of friends and family. So even though I thought it was total nonsense and not going to amount to anything, I said, yeah, I got something. And he said, well, okay, good. He said we should come to the Brendan Byrne Arena, which was the big arena where the big rock bands played, and a band called Whitesnake, who I wasn't a fan of at all, was playing there the following night. And he said, John said we should come to the Whitesnake show. There'll be tickets for us. And maybe he'll be there, but if he won't be there, his man will be there. And if you have music, give it to his man. So I go, and my tickets are there, my buddy's there, the guitar player, and we meet his friend from high school. John doesn't show up. But I have my little cassette, or a copy of my little cassette. It's titled Pretty Blue World. It has like 8 songs on it, the best songs I'd ever written in my life. And I'm going to back up now. Just hold that thought, because now I have to tell you about the song that changed my life. This is the song that saved my life. About a year and a half after losing Rosie's mom, I hope I'm not going to confuse you now. I didn't map any of this out. I just figured I'd tell you the story, and I hope it's not confusing. About a year and a half after losing Rosie's mom, a buddy of mine convinced me to go out on a town in Manhattan. And I really didn't drink or anything like that, but so I did. I went out with him. I had brought Rose to my brother's in Long Island. I was now still living in New Jersey at the time. So I know I'm kind of flipping you around a little bit. We were still in the same house in Jersey for a while at that point. So I went out I drove to Long Island, dropped Rosie off at my brother's house, and my buddy who was taking me out on the town lived in Long Island. So we went out. I drank. And
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, shut up, Siri. Who asked you? What the heck? She's having trouble hearing me. Are you having trouble hearing me also? That was weird. So I hope I'm not losing you. I'm losing Siri for sure. So we go out. I get so drunk. Not so drunk. I just drank wine and I didn't drink. So it's the next day. It's Sunday now. I have to go back out to Long Island and pick up my Rosie. It's like 100 degrees out. And I'm in, it's like noon, I guess. It's like dead stop traffic on the Grand Central Parkway. Now, the Grand Central Parkway in New York is the road someone would take from New York to get to the beach, Rockaway Beach, or the Met game, because the Mets are over here. This is backwards. The Mets are over here. Shea Stadium's here. So the beach is that way, and Shea Stadium's that way. So I am sitting in traffic for the beach and Shea Stadium. And I'm not going to either one of those fun places. I just want to get my daughter and go home. But the traffic is going to those places. So I feel kind of abused and offended by this traffic because I shouldn't be in it. I just want to pick up my kid and get home. So I'm sitting there in traffic. And I'm really, really, really depressed. I'm a little hungover, I guess, and I'm in my head. I'm chewing on my life, and it was a dark, dark moment. And I was thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to take care of this kid? How am I going to raise my baby? What am I going to do? There was no hope on the horizon. And again, I was writing these songs. I had these songs, but no one was ever going to hear it. However, there was this little glimmer of light in my head where I still believed. I wasn't mad at God for what had happened. I just felt disconnected. I felt like I didn't understand anymore. I didn't know how he fit or how I fit anymore. And I didn't fit in the world anymore as far as I could see, because I was used to being 2 and now I was used to being 3 and now I was just me and my baby, and it was really what it was. So I was kind of all busted up, and there I am in the car, and I'm depressed. I'm so depressed that I'm sinking, and my car begins to overheat. I could smell that smell, and it was a creepy little car. It got me around, but it was this, I forget what it was, a Mitsubishi something or other, but it wasn't in good shape, and it was beginning to overheat, and I was barely moving. Shea Stadium over there, beach that way, dead stop traffic, moving. Once in a blue moon, you'd move 5 feet, At that point, I heard a little voice in my head. And this really happened, folks. And the little voice says, look in the car in front of you. And I wasn't even looking in front of me because I'm not moving. I don't need to look. I was kind of in my head, those things where you get to a place and you wonder, wow, how did I get here? Because I wasn't even thinking about driving. Well, that's where I was. I was in my head. Not a good place on this day. So the voice says, look at that car. And I look up and I look into that car. And that car is the biggest, blackest, prettiest Mercedes-Benz I'd ever seen in my life. And I thought, yeah. And I'm starting to talk to this voice. Really weird, folks, because at the moment I wouldn't go, oh, that's God. I'm hearing a voice or a thought, whatever that is, speaking to my heart. Look at that car. And I look at that car, and I looked and I went, yeah, my life just got worse, because everything I need in the world is probably in that car. That car's worth more than everything in my life times 50 probably, or more. It was a big, beautiful car. And I couldn't care less about cars, but this day, cars somehow were really important to my heart. I don't know. Ask God. So I kind of talked back to the voice. I said, I don't want to look at that car. The longer I stare at that car, as I stare at that car, my life gets worse. I begin to take more of an inventory of my life. What do you have? I have a car that's ready to overheat. What do you have? I have a baby and without a mother. What do you have? I got no money. That guy seems to have everything. And the voice says, keep watching that car. And in my mind, it was, idiot, keep watching that car. And I'm like going, no, I don't want to watch that car. But I watched that car. And all of a sudden, this guy gets a phone call. No one had phones then. Nobody had phones then. It was probably a wire, those cars with the wire phone. He has a phone. And I go, oh, that's good. His life just got better. My life just got a little worse. And then I'm really starting to get annoyed with what I'm seeing here. This guy's got everything. I've got less now because he has that. Now he's on the phone. The voice says, keep watching. Keep watching. So I continue to watch. And within seconds of that guy being on the phone, he starts screaming at someone on the phone. And I could see veins popping out of his neck. He looked like he was just about to have a stroke. And the next thought was, I don't need what's in that car. I don't want what's in that car. That's not what I need. That was the thought that was coming to my brain. And then the voice said, look over there. For some reason, my camera's backwards, and I'm seeing things backwards. I'm not a lefty. I don't know why this is happening. We'll figure that out. Anyway, the voice says, look over there in the slow lane. And I look, and I see this car, and it is the most beat up. It looked like it should have been in the junkyard or on blocks out on somebody's front lawn, way out in the country. There was more body work on that car than there was paint. And I go, I look, and the voice says, look at the guy. And the guy's got his window down because he doesn't have air conditioning in that car. My car is overheating, so I don't have air conditioning either. My window's up, down. And I look at the guy, and he seems really happy. He seems like the picture of joy. And I look, and I talk to the voice, and the voice says, keep looking at the car. And I said, well, just because this guy is so stupid that he could be happy in a car like that, that doesn't make me feel better just because he has less than I have. And the voice says, keep watching that car. And at that point, since I'm in the fast lane and he's in the slow lane, I see, I start to get just a different angle on him, and I get a kind of a vantage point, and the voice is saying, keep watching that car. And as I get a little better vantage point on him, I see that he's got a woman sitting next to him, and she's so close. She's so close. And in that moment, I was looking at, and again, I knew nothing, but in that moment, for me, I was looking at a picture of perfect joy. I was looking at bliss, two people in bliss, in a car that needed to be in the junkyard. And I thought, wow, what does that guy know that I don't? So I went home and I wrote this song, Power Windows, in 20 minutes. I wrote it, and when I wrote it, I knew something had changed. I'll play you that song now. How about that? But first, I'm going to look at your comments because I like to see them. I hope this isn't boring, folks. Then Born. What are you saying? Hi, Mike. How are you? I need to call you, but I didn't have time today because you seem to want to really chat. Oh, my. What is... and then Born. Born or Boom? Oh, Boom. Yeah, Boom. I don't know about Boom, but yeah. Me too. Sonic Suicide. Mine has been broken down. Oh, Cars? You guys are funny. Oh, man. That's a crazy name, Sonic Suicide. Are you okay? Come on now. I'm glad you love it. Yeah, Power Windows. All right, good. So, let me see where I'm at. And then I'll tell you what happened with this song. Actually, let me tell you what happened with this song. So, I did give that. Now we're back in the arena. I give the cassette to the guy who works for Bon Jovi, the cassette of these 8 songs. And it's maybe a year and a half later. And I give him this cassette, and that was it. Goodbye. And I went home thinking, that's that. I'm never going to hear anything about that. This is another frustration. This is another disappointment. And lo and behold, I was right. Never heard anything back. So now give it another, at some point, friends of mine who were living in Nashville, really sweet people that I knew from that ministry I had been involved with when I lived in New York. They were New Yorkers that had moved to Nashville to pursue songwriting and the music business. So they suggested, they knew my situation, they knew I was really in trouble, and they knew I was kind of broken, and they said, you should really come to Nashville. You'll love it here, and the people will really love what you do here. And so I made a trip to Nashville, and my folks watched Rosie for a summer. I took my studio in that same car, and I drove down to Nashville. and with the hopes of getting some kind of a deal that I could move down to Nashville and start having a life again in the music business. I thought maybe I'd just write songs, because that's what people do here. You write songs for other people. I didn't imagine that I'd ever get to make a record again or anything like that. So I came down here, and it was like a desperate move. And when I came down here, I didn't even know how to talk to people. But I fell in love with this city, and I spent the first 2 months of the summer I went from when I got here almost unable to sit and have a conversation with someone, because I just was kind of messed up. If I knew you, I could, but I couldn't communicate with people I didn't know or didn't already know me, because I really wasn't sure of who I was anymore. My identity was lost. I was a dad, that's what I was. I could talk about my daughter till the cows come home, but that's basically all I could talk about. That's all I knew. But I fell in love with Nashville, and Nashville immediately accepted me. The folks here, I was embraced by a bunch of young songwriters, and had an amazing summer. And every day I'd go and I went from not being able to talk to people, I turned into like a crazy salesman, something I've never been. I try not to talk too fast, because I listen to some of this, I talk too fast. So I was going from door. I was just cold calling at these publishers and record companies. I was sweet talking their secretaries, and I'd sing for them, and the secretary would go, yeah, let me get my boss. Because I would play Power Windows, and I'd play Pretty Blue World, and I'd play Heaven's Highest Hill, and they weren't used to those kind of songs. And I would wind up with the boss in the room, and the boss would make me promises that he was never going to keep. Come back tomorrow, play me more music, and come back, and the guys in the back music row is a bunch of houses, or was a bunch of houses, and the guy is there, and I pull up in my car, it's the next day, and he's at the Hickory Pit, and he's doing some barbecuing, and I'm going, this is weird, this is a record company, and this guy's out here making ribs or preparing the barbecue grill for ribs, and he starts explaining to me stuff about the hickory wood, and I'm going like, where am I? I thought it was like I was on the moon, because I didn't know what that was in New York. I know now. So it was a really amazing experience. I felt like I was coming alive being here in Nashville. So I had 2 months to get a job, because I didn't want to go back to New York and have that dreadful waiting for Rosie to come home from school thing, just the depressingness of a New York winter at the time, for real. And I dreaded. I was so missing my daughter, but I dreaded going back and living up there again in the dark of my life, and the light being my baby, which was like bittersweet. And so I was there for 2 months, and I had all these promises from these record companies and stuff, and the record companies, from publishing companies. Everybody was saying, if you move down, you'll get a job, we'll sign you if you move down. And they'd pay you next to nothing, and I was willing to do that, but I said, I can't move here without a job. I got a baby. And so I think it was the last week of my stay here. It was late August. I knew Rosie had to start school again in September, so I had to be getting home. So I had a week left to my stay here. Now, like I said before, I had fallen in with a bunch of young songwriters, and every night we'd get together. After everybody wrote and did everything they were trying to do, and we'd get together and sing our new songs, and we'd tell stories of who said what about our song and the new possibility, and this guy might get a deal, and this guy might cut my song, and but it was really a sweet, sweet time. And every night we'd stay out, we'd go to this place where they had a patio, and bar would close, and we'd just sit out on the patio all night singing until someone come and told us to shut up, and then we'd go home 3, 4 in the morning, and that's what we were doing. And it was just a sweet, sweet time. So one night I'm preparing to go out. It's probably 9, 10 o'clock. I'm staying at my friend's place, not far from where I live here in Nashville, and I'm going to go meet my friends at that place where we'll stay up till 4 in the morning singing songs. And the phone rings, and it's for me, and it's another guy that was in the same band as the guitar player that was washing windows. I hope this ain't confusing. He was the bass player in that band that I made. He was on a couple of my records. And he called me and he said, Billy, It's Gene. I was at the Stone Pony, which is this legendary bar in Asbury Park, New Jersey, where Springsteen would play and Bon Jovi would play. I used to play there a lot, and it was a whole scene. But now, it's the kind of place that John would go to on an off night and just jump up on stage, and everybody go, "Oh, Bon Jovi's here," after he's a big star, you know. So this fella happened to be hanging out at the Stone Pony, this legendary club, and he's at the bar, and John Bon Jovi walks up to him and goes, "Hey, didn't you used to play with Billy Falcon?" And the guy goes, yeah. And John said, have you heard the song? And he sang him the chorus of Power Windows. And the guy said, yeah, Billy sent me that song. And John said, "Where's Billy? Can you do me a favor? Take my number and have him call me." This is a year and a half after me giving him the cassette to that guy, a year and a half later. So then, again, I'm in Nashville getting ready to go out, meet my friends. I get this call that Bon Jovi wants me to call him. And I'm going, get out of here. This can't be real. So I called John. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And it was weird because when he picked up the phone, it sounded like I was talking to myself. He sounded like me on the other end of the phone. And he was really sweet. And he said, "Look, I'm running out the door. I'm going to the movies. But I have to tell you, I am your biggest fan. These songs are unbelievable. Can you send me whatever you got? Here's my address. Send me whatever you got. I want to hear more." So the next morning I woke up and I recorded a bunch of songs I had written, and I sent him more songs. So it's a week goes by. Again, I run downtown to my friends and I tell them all the story because I know this is going to turn into nothing again. I still don't think this can possibly happen. So now you got one guy meeting a window washer and then another guy meeting who works with Bon Jovi, and my window washer friend who meets the guy who works with Bon Jovi. And now you got another guy who's in my band. Bon Jovi approaches him in a bar and sings my song. And I go down to my friends and I tell them all this story about, Bon Jovi, and I'm trying to tell the story, the good news, before it goes away, because I really believe it's going away. So I go the rest of the week. I'm taking all those meetings. I have a couple more meetings I have to take. I'm driving home on Saturday. So I spend the week running and trying to make these making a last-ditch effort to get a deal so I don't have to be stuck in New York in the winter with not knowing who I was, what I do, and writing these songs for nobody. But it looked like that's what it was going to be because everybody wanted me to move down here before they'd give me any kind of a deal. And that's what they do. So it was a Thursday. I think it was a Thursday, yeah. And I went and I met with a company that I'd met with several times, and I played them so many songs. And I play them 5 more songs or something like that. And they've been threatening to sign me, and I think this looks like a good possibility. And the guy says, "Well, you know what? Our investor is coming tomorrow, Friday. Do you have any more songs?" And I'm going, gee whiz. I must have played him 50 songs in a month. And I said, "Yeah, I got a couple of things I could play." He says, "Can you come in tomorrow and play for our investor?" So I said, "Sure." So I go home. It's Thursday. It's really hot in Nashville. It was like the summers here can be incredible, and it felt like the steering wheel was melting. That I remember. And I drove back to the house. I was staying in my buddy Ralph's house, and he had a 16-year-old son. And again, they were so sweet. They put me up all summer, and I walk in the living room of the house, and his son and his son's girlfriend are sitting on the floor, on the carpet in their living room, in their bathing suits because they were at the pool. And as I walk through the door, the son looks up at me. He's about 16. He goes, "You got 5 messages from Bon Jovi." So I go, "What?" This is a week after I had sent more music. So they played, and then he hit the button, and it was a Codaphone, and it was like, "Hi, this is John Bon Jovi. If Billy Falcon's there, can you have him call us, please?" And then John's manager called, and then John called. It was like 5 messages. So I called him, and again, sounded like me on the other end of the phone. And we get done, and he kind of said, "What the are you doing in Nashville?" Because he didn't understand what was going on here. And I said, well, no one in New York cares about a guy with an acoustic guitar and a bunch of songs and some words. And he goes, I do. What do you want? And I said, I want to make a record. He said, come home. And he said, I'll send you a plane ticket. This stuff, to me, could never happen. This is like movie stuff. This never happened in my career before. With all the stuff I did, I made a bunch of records, but nothing ever, everything always took forever. It always took forever. And here it is. He's saying, come home. I can do this. He asked me, make a list of your dream producers. And at that point, I didn't even know what a producer was anymore because I was so far removed from ever thinking I was going to make a record again. So now I'm thinking, this is still going to go away. This can't be real. So John says, I'll send you a plane ticket. And I say, don't. I have to drive home on Saturday anyway. That's 2 days. He says, okay, just call me when you get back. We'll have dinner. You could have dinner with me and my wife next Thursday. So I said, great. So I drove home. My car broke down in Virginia. So I'm thinking, you see, I'm going to die in Virginia. I'm going to try to get my car fixed and they're going to kill me. I really thought I'd never get home. I was so excited to get home, see my baby, and said, something good is going to happen. I wanted to tell them, my family, who were all looking at my life going, oh my God, what's going to happen with Billy? What Billy can't do anything but play the guitar and sing songs. What's going to happen with Billy? And literally, I can't do anything else. And things, there was no promising opportunities on the horizon. I wanted to get home really fast so I could tell everybody before this thing turned into nothing again. And I really expected it to. But I did have that little glimmer of hope that God would not leave me and my daughter in this broken place. And so I drove home. I finally got my car fixed. I got my car fixed on a Sunday by some guy, and he left parts on the floor. I thought I'd never get home. There were pieces of my car still on the ground as I drove away. And I got home and went to John's house the following Thursday. I remember what we ate, and there was John sitting there with like this shirt unbuttoned down to here. He had a hairy chest with all these chains and stuff and earrings and the hair from like You Give Love a Bad Name or Living on a Prayer. He was that John Bon Jovi. And his wife was so sweet, and his manager was there. And we ate, and then we went in the other room. And in this room surrounded by like 1 billion platinum records. I mean, hundreds of platinum records. And I was like, oh my, what's all this? And he hands me a guitar and says, here, play. So I played him a few songs, new songs. And John looked at me and said, okay, stop, I hate you. And he was being sweet. And at that point, they handed me a record contract, which doesn't happen in the music business. Does not happen. You go through months and months of this grueling, torturous, whatever. They hand me a record contract. And I went into Manhattan on the way home, and where I used to walk with my wife and baby. And I went into Manhattan, and I walked the streets crying, reading the record contract. I couldn't make heads or tails of it. But praying and crying out loud to God, thank you, because something really is happening. Something is going to happen. Anyway, and that's how that's what brings me here. Those events then led me to, John produced that record. The record was a hit, and then other things happened, and then I started writing with him for his records. And it's been an amazing run, kind of. And everything again, it's all God. It's all God. John just happened to be the guy that would find favor with me, and which is amazing. And I love him for that, for being the guy that God could touch and say, call that guy, because that's what happened. That's absolutely what happened. For John to find favor and someone in his position at the time. Anyway, so this is Power Windows, folks. That was a long introduction to a song. Let me see if you're still awake. Hold on a second. And how long am I going here? 1 hour and 9 minutes. It's not that horrible, and I'm almost done. Gee whiz. Thank you, God Sparrow. What's God Sparrow? New York May, thank you. Hi, Julianne. Wow. I wrote this as a book, and I wrote this as a movie. I have a script for this, and hasn't obviously been made, but I'm still waiting on the ending. I think the ending is coming. I think the boom is coming. You need a boom in the end, so I could make something up. I think this is the boom in the end, is walking with Jesus and knowing you guys. I think this is the boom. It can't be just, oh yeah, and then you made some money. Oh, and then you wrote some songs. It can't be that. No, it's much more than that. And then you went full circle and you got back to what you did in New York City, sitting on a bed and teaching the Bible. Now I sit in this chair and teach the Bible. And anyway, thank you for being part of this movie. And it is a movie, folks. Anyway, it's Power Windows. I'll try not to mess it up for you. I don't need this thing for this. I shouldn't, but I do it anyway. Charlie drives a brand new Mercedes-Benz. He's got another one just like it, just like all his friends. His wife is playing tennis and his kids are off at school. He drives home to his empty house, sits by his empty swimming pool. But he's got power windows, he's got power brakes, he's got a power bed. Push a button and it shakes. He's got no one to talk to and tears are rolling down his face. He ain't got the power of love. Yeah, power of love. Lewis drives a beat-up 69 Dart, swears it's the statue of Mary, keeps the car from falling apart, with Gracie right beside him, sitting closer than a smile. She's got her head on his shoulder. He loves to drive and hold her. He got no power windows, got no power brakes. He ain't got no power, nothing, but he got what it takes. He's got Gracie's arms around him and a smile on his face. He's got the power of love. No air condition, no cellular telephone. He goes rumbling down the highway listening to his AM radio. One arm out the window and a smile upon his face makes you wonder how it got there, till you see him look at grace. Then see him look at grace. He's got the power. Ain't that the power of love? He's got the power. Ain't that the power of love? He's got the power. Ain't that the power of love? He's got the power. Ain't that the... He got no power windows, got no power brakes. He ain't got no power nothing, but he got what it takes. He's got Gracie's arms around him and a smile on his face. He's got the power of love. Yeah. No air condition, no cellular telephone. He goes rumbling down the highway listening to his AM radio. One arm out the window and a smile upon his face makes you wonder how it got there, till you see him look at grace. See him look at grace. He's got the power. Power breaks. Got no power, nothing, but he got what it takes. He's got no power windows, got no power brakes. He ain't got no power, nothing. No power, nothing. Got no power windows, got no power brakes. He ain't got no power, nothing, but he got what it takes. Yeah. He's got the power of love. Yeah, ain't that the power of love? Boo, boo, boo. The cool thing about we made that record after that little walk through Manhattan and or being at John's house and eating shrimp scampi with him and his wife and his manager, and going into the city and reading the contract, and we made the record. I found myself 3 months later in a studio with superstars. I was the only one there that wasn't a star. I was a nobody in the presence of all these guys from either Tom Petty's band, or John's band, or Stevie Nicks' band. It was pretty amazing. And then we wound up again on the road and all that excitement. After that, I botched that all up too. I kind of messed that up pretty good. But God was with me every step of the way. Every step. I drug. It was like he gave me a new car. He says, "Here's a new car." He gave me a new life, and I took the new life and I continued to roll in the mud. I went back to the mud because I felt like I deserved to roll in the mud because I'd suffered. Wrong. But God, when you go rolling in the mud, when I went rolling in the mud, you know who had to roll in the mud with me? Jesus went rolling in the mud. He don't get dirty when he rolls in the mud. The Holy Spirit stays perfect. It stays clean, but it stays with you. So all this, folks, to say that when people tell me they've lost something, or they lost somebody, or they're going through really, really tough times, and it's always, most of the time, it's just unjust. Like you've done nothing wrong, and here you go, and just life seems to be caving in all around you. We have a God that fights our battles. We have a God that wants nothing more, that hates when an injustice is done to one of his children. Hates. And he does everything if we just will do our best. And in those days, when I was living in a way where I thought nothing good would ever happen again, my only best was not killing myself. My only best was to not become a drunk. My only best was to be not taking drugs to kill the pain. My only best was loving my kid, as with all the mistakes I made, but loving my kid. And doing the work I could to write songs. I just did what I could. And nothing more. I have so many times people, "Oh, you've been amazing. You were such an amazing dad." And I think, no, I wasn't. He is an amazing dad. I kept screwing up. He is an amazing dad. I think I'm a really good dad now. I'm a better pop than I was a dad, because the self has been minimized, so the target's really small. I have more fun seeing someone else blessed than being blessed. Anyway, and again, and I'll just reiterate, or not reiterate, I'll iterate. When I sing the songs like Heaven's Highest Hill and When, it's art, folks. I'm telling a story, and I tell that story because it's what God delivered me from. But he absolutely delivered me from it. I've heard preachers stand on stage after losing a child, which is the most horrible thing I think that could happen, or a spouse. And I've heard preachers say, "This is a pain that I'll never get over." And you know what? He'll never get over it. And if we ever speak those words over ourselves, you know what we're doing? We're putting a curse on ourselves. I'll never be able to forgive that hurt. You know what, folks? You're cursed. People are cursing themselves. And that's what I didn't do. God healed my heart. I do not pine for something that happened 30 years ago. I do not ache for something that happened 30 years ago. I don't have any pain from that situation anymore. Because I'm human. When I wrote the movie, when I wrote the script, there were moments where I was in it, you know. But when I closed down my pad and stopped writing, I wasn't in it anymore. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Never speak over yourself things like, "I'll never get over this. I'll never get over him. I'll never get over her. I'll never get over this hurt." You know what? Because you won't. If you realize God heals all wounds. God doesn't just heal little wounds. He doesn't just heal sicknesses. He heals broken hearts. And now that we know, and We know who's coming back. We know Jesus is coming back. So we're living this movie out. It is a movie, folks, isn't it? Actually, no, it ain't. This is real life, and the movie's just fake. The movie's fake, real life. I don't want to look at the sky and say, look, it looks like a picture. No, the picture looks like the sky. The picture looks like what God did. So God's a beautiful storyteller, and he writes these amazing stories. And I promise you, he is writing one for your life if you will just acknowledge him, spend the time, like Jerry said this morning, spend quiet time with your Father. Spend time with your Father. You don't have to say pretty prayers. All you have to do is sit. Say, Father, I'm here. I want to know you better. Teach me how to love you. Teach me how to worship you. Teach me how to know you. I want to know your Son. I want to see his face. I've never seen his face. My Terry has seen his face. My Terry has seen Jesus like a couple of times. Ryder has seen Jesus. I've never seen him. I hope to see him. I will see him one day, for sure. And so will you. I think that's it, folks. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. I'm sure I'm leaving a ton out. You could, I should put the script up. You could read it if you want. Hi, Siobhan. How are you? She's 7. That's a sweet, sweet woman there. I haven't seen you here, but she is a really great girl. You're all great. Hi, Dave, Barbara. I could read names now. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Pam. Hi, Mary. Hi, Brent. Hi, Carrie Martin. That's a great name. I don't like sonic suicide. I don't get the sonic suicide thing. It's just some kind of audio thing. I hate the word suicide. But I'm sure you got a good reason for it. I'm sure you have. It's a sense of humor thing. I hope. Laps a lot. Faith Unseen. Absolutely. I got no choice. What else am I going to do if I don't sing? God Sparrow, then Calabasas, Malibu. So many schoolmates so lost. Yeah. Well, I hope it's not you you're talking about. You're talking about other folks, right? Of course, Stevie Nicks. Yeah, Stevie Nicks. That's so funny. I wrote a song for Stevie Nicks called Sometimes It's a Bitch. Again, that was part of that whole time. I went from, I'm way back in the comments. God, you guys probably went home already. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Bob. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Siobhan. Hi, Dean. Dak. All right, folks. Well, God bless you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, do you want to hear one more song? I'll take the first request. I hope it's something I know. If you want to hear one more song. If you don't, we'll just get the hell out of here. What do you think? Oh, that's church. Let's get the hell out of here. I thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And I hope this helps. If anybody has any questions, whatever questions about what, well, you're right about that. Yeah, I'm playing a show next week. Never mind, I won't do that. What is this? Pretty World helped me get through my dad. Oh, I'm glad. And you know, whatever God does for us, it isn't for us. It's not just for us. It's to share with other people. It's to, God gives us gifts for his other kids. Okay? And if all his children would just spend enough time with him so they'll know what their gift is, instead of guessing, instead of chasing that thing that just won't get caught, ask God. Ask God. But you know what? You don't even have to ask him. If you'll just spend time in his presence, and in case anybody doesn't know what that is, folks, how I spend time in his presence, and no one ever taught me this. It just happened to me. I'll talk about how it happened another time, but I just learned to be still. I learned to be still. And when I got still, like it says in Psalm 46:10, it says, be still and know that I am God. If you want to experience God, if you want to feel God manifest, because he's inside. This is the temple, right, folks? He's here. He's here. If you want to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that he's here, get quiet, get still, and do, and just seek his face. And by his face, just worship him. Just worship him. Just worship him. Just quietly ask him into your heart, and then just sit. You don't have to say a word. And if you fall asleep, you know what? I heard a really smart guy named Bill Johnson once say, he never minded when his children fell asleep in his arms. And when those little boys were small enough, when Ryder was small enough, and I'd carry him around, or Scouty, and I feel their head hit my shoulder like that, and they start sleeping, there is no greater feeling. Let's give it to God. Spend time with him. And I promise you, in the time you spend with him like that, he will heal your body. He will heal your mind. He will heal your heart. He will heal your life. He'll heal your family. He'll make the crooked things straight. He'll give you a new heart. He won't fix the broken heart. He'll give you a new heart. That's what the Bible says. He gives us a new heart. I could go on for days, and I will not. I love you guys, and I thank you for spending time. Did anybody request a song? Let's see. Never Surrender. I played that already. I like your name, Tom Waite. Cool name. You know, are you a Tom Waits fan? Pretty Blue World is a request about that. Never Surrender again? All right, I'll play Never Surrender. Hi, Brent. Thank you, Brent. All right. So really, Never Surrender 2 times? All right. Sounds so good, I had to play it twice. Maybe I'll get it right this time. Ryder should come back down. He so wanted to hang out, but I didn't think the subject matter would have been great. He wouldn't understand. Or he might, and that would be worse. Let's do it. I hope I'm not... I guess you guys came late because I did play this already. I could say just rewind. Should I play Never Surrender? Let's see what everybody says. I'm going to give you guys one. Never Surrender, Never Surrender. Let's see. Oh, God, you guys are amazing. You know what? Maybe this week, I don't know that I'm going tomorrow night, but I'll probably go Wednesday night. There'll be a thing if I do. All right, that's it. I'll play Holy Fire. Someone said, please. When someone says, please, you got to play Holy Fire. I wish Ryder was here, but I can't get him. Sometimes when Ryder's not with me, I want to call him. He don't have a phone, thank God. But it really is funny. Terry, if you're listening, you should come now because we got to eat. We got to eat. We're going to play one more song, and then we're going to eat. What are we going to eat, folks? I have no idea. Oh, all right, here we go. Here we go. Holy Fire. All right. Ruh-roh. And, you guys, you could go, if you're not subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button. And please share if you think anybody would like to hear me going on about nothing. But yeah, please hit the like thing, whatever the thing, the thumb thing, and what else? Ring the bell, all that stuff. There's a holy fire burning inside of me, a heavenly desire giving me all I need. Once I was a slave, Jesus broke the chains, now I've been set free. Oh, the precious blood poured down from above, all of my sins washed clean. My sweet Savior's face, oh, my Savior's grace, nailed to a sinner's cross. Got nothing to hide, brand new heart inside now because of what it cost. There's a holy fire burning inside of me, a heavenly desire giving me all I need. Through the wind and rain, the flames just grow high. Ain't no hurricane can put out a holy fire. Sold out all the way, there's no vacancy. Jesus fills every room. The devil thought he got his man. The Father had another plan, raised him from that stony tomb. What my Savior said, what my Savior did, that's what I want to do. Jesus, the name of love, Jesus, the name above, gave his life for me and you. But there's a holy fire burning inside of me, a heavenly desire giving me all I need. Through the wind and rain, the flames just grow high. Ain't no hurricane can put out a holy fire. And everybody said, ooh, 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 ooh. Everybody said, ooh, 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 ooh. I was standing on the shore, waiting for the sea to part, walking through a world, dying of a broken heart. I'm done waiting on a sign for that stars to get in line. I'm about my Father's business, and we're running out of time. We're about our Father's business, and we're running out of time. There's a holy fire burning inside of me, a heavenly desire giving me all I need. Through the wind, through the rain, the flames just grow higher. Ain't no hurricane gonna put out a holy fire. There's a holy fire burning inside of me, a heavenly desire giving me all I need. Through the wind and rain, the flames just grow higher. Ain't no hurricane can put out a holy fire. You can't put out a holy fire. You can't put out a holy fire. You can't put out a holy fire. Bam. Thank you again, guys. I'm so glad. I hope all right, I could spend all night reading this stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Susan B. And Defrustrated. Thank you, Jesus. This message was held in review. What did they say? There's some really wacky stuff. Some people put some stuff, but not you guys. I mean, I clicked on something by mistake the other day, and it was nasty. But that wouldn't be it, I don't think. All right. God bless you guys. I will see you in a day or so, a couple of days. I have Little Church on Facebook on Tuesday night, but it's hard to find. It's on my Facebook page, and they're shadow banning me like beating me with a stick. It's because I say all the wrong things. I'm a bad man. Don't tell the truth. Anyway, I love you guys, and I look forward to one day. I think we're going to do something. We're going to do something in a big room somewhere. It'll be fun. Anyway, God bless you. And anybody ever comes to Tennessee, anybody ever comes to Nashville, you're welcome to come here for Tuesday night church, Little Church in my house. You can see that this virtual background is actually real. All right. God bless you, and we'll see you soon. All right. The music is on billyfalcon.com. The shirts, the cups, it's like crazy. All the stuff there is pretty funny. But I still haven't, nobody sent me a picture. Well, a couple of people sent me pictures wearing the shirts, and I'd love to see them. And my friend Jody goes to all these, she goes to meets Mike Flynn and all these guys, and she's wearing my shirt. I'm proud to have my shirt there. Never surrender with the words, and really funny. So anyway, God bless you guys. Like I said, the music is on the website. If you don't have any dough, just take it. Please take it. It's kind of pay what you want or pay nothing. It's some people say, I feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Take it. I want you to have it. And like I said, when God gives you gifts, he gives it for the church, and he gives it to draw people to him. So that's Terry. Terry's calling. Anyway, I love you guys, and that's all, folks. I'll see you later. Bye. God bless you. Honey, hold on a second. All right, we'll see you later, guys. Thank you. Bye.